Hey kids, this is Ivan. How you doing? I don't know about you, but I hate being lied to. I hate being gaslit. And something really pissed me off the other day, so I'm going to tell you about it. If, like me, you have gotten to that point where you're sick of having a job, working for somebody else, you want to do something for yourself, you have been exposed to a slew of people out there telling you how you should do this, how you should think, how you should behave, what you should buy from them, etc. How awesome and relevant their advice is varies by quite a bit. So the other day, I'm watching a channel that I really like. The channel is by Tom Skrylius. I wish I could pronounce his name right. I really enjoy the channel, but he was interviewing this guy, Aaron Knightley. I have no clue who Aaron Knightley is. I don't really care, but he was interviewing this other guy, which I guess people know who he is. And they're talking about escaping wage slavery. Great. Okay, I'll listen because I like Tom. I will link the video below, as a matter of fact, so you can watch it for yourself and not just take my word for it. So we get Aaron's story about how he was backstabbed at work. He's got a young kid on the way. He decides he doesn't want to be at the mercy of somebody else and a wage slave. So he rises to success through sheer willpower. Great. We all have our stories. I have mine. You have yours. They're relatable. Your story is the most important story, by the way. Just remember that because it's yours. So he keeps talking, and the alarm bells start going off. My BS detector starts lighting up like a Christmas tree, because he starts talking about things like the fact that he was never afraid of risk. He's never cared what other people think. He's never been afraid of failure, and he absolutely positively does not believe that luck exists. That's wonderful. That's a fortunate temperament to have when you want to go into business. However, he starts to equate this with the correct way to think. He starts moralizing his mindset and his temperament. As the video goes on, everything that Aaron is saying is kind of revolving around this idea that his temperament is kind of the gold standard for human potential. And if you're risk averse, if you're worried about what might happen, if you're afraid of failure, if you're afraid of what other people think, you're defective. There's something wrong with you. This is a moral failing. Your thinking, your outlook, your perspective is just wrong and defective. And this is effectively classism. And it's not just classism about mindset, it's classism about temperament. And at this point, it's not tough love. It's not helping very many people. For a lot of people watching this video, they will feel beaten up because they're just not like that. And they're thinking to themselves, something's got to be wrong with me. There's nothing wrong with you. You're just wired differently. People have different temperaments. A lot of this is based upon biology, and a lot of it is based upon past experiences. Some of this can be changed. A lot of it can't. And when somebody starts coming at you, telling you that, well, there's something wrong with you if you're not a thrill seeker, which I guess you would call something like discipline, or if you're not, if you don't have a disdain for rest, you have grit. If you're not impulsive or have a stomach for calculated risk, there's something wrong with you. And that's just moralizing temperament. And that's not cool. That's gaslighting. The other gaslighting that occurred within the video and in the comments itself as he was responding to people was this idea that there's nothing as luck. It does not exist. And this is complete bullshit. And yes, it is absolutely true that things like hard work and doing the right thing are required to be successful at anything. If you want to have an RPG game company that's successful, or a band that's getting lots and lots of gigs, a successful YouTube channel, brick and mortar business, whatever the heck it happens to be, you have to be willing to put in the work and show up. However, to say that luck doesn't play a part in any of that is disingenuous to the extreme. There's a concept called les élus, I think I'm getting it right, in French, and it's like the chosen. And these are the people that people can point to. It's like Oprah Winfrey or whomever who've raised themselves up out of nothing. That's great. That's wonderful. But the message that this will happen for everybody that puts the effort in is complete nonsense. There is luck involved in all of these things. Very often there's this survivor bias of the people that become really successful. They believe because they made it, then anybody else that hasn't made it just hasn't done what they did. They haven't put in the work. But I'll tell you, for every person that is visibly very successful, there's a whole bunch of people that did what they did and it didn't work out for them because they just didn't have that stroke of luck. And you can even have bad luck. Just research the story of Charles Goodyear, the guy that brought us vulcanized rubber, changed the world. We would be lost without rubber. Go watch Veritasium. I just watched a video on that. It's awesome. But we would be lost without it. But the thing is, the guy put all this work in for years and years and years, died a pauper in debt. What about the Goodyear Rubber Company? Well, it's named after him. It's not actually his company. The guy did everything and failed. And once again, this harping on luck not being real is absolute gaslighting and bullshit to the extreme, because what it does is it takes the people that have put in the work, put in the grit, put in the effort, and it's telling them you did something wrong. There's something wrong with you. And the reason that you are where you are is 100% your fault. That kind of moralizing is no better than equating hard work to morality, as the church did in years past. And that's something that we still struggle with and believe today. To a very large extent, this whole idea of a meritocracy is also like stuffed in our heads, and we believe, you know what, man, the reason that I'm just not successful, or this guy is so much better off than me, it's entirely my fault. I must suck. Does this mean that our own efforts and what we've done plays no part in the situation? Of course not. A lot of us are. There's a very big, factor about like, what have I done that has led me to where I am today? That's absolutely 100% true. You can't discount that. But to say that there was nothing, luck had nothing to do with it, that's bullshit. So let's back up, because I say all of this as a person that believes that you should try and persevere until you die. I believe it's absolutely, if you want to get something done, whatever the hell it is, you've got to keep pushing forwards as if you're going to be able to do it. You're not going to do anything without that. However, I believe that honesty is one of the most important factors in living life. As a critical thinker, I think it's absolutely vital. And so it pays to look at the entire situation, to realize just how rigged the system actually is, to realize that very often, a lot of people have, privilege or, reasons they got help. Maybe they behaved unethically. Just understand that that's a factor. Understand that there is very often luck, right place, right time. Look at the history of Star Trek, and Lucille Ball could have canned it in a second, didn't. Look at Nagasaki. It was bad weather. There was bad weather that day, and I forget what the actual target was supposed to be. They didn't bomb that city. They bombed Nagasaki. Freaking luck. That has nothing to do with success, Simon. But you know what I mean? Acknowledge that your temperament may be different. You may have problems with risk. You may have problems with, like just worrying about what people think of you. You may be really afraid of failure. That's not a defect. That's just a temperament that you have to deal with, as you continue on and persevere towards success. To ignore that, to say that all these obstacles in our way just don't matter or they're not real, is gaslighting bullshit. Just, that's stupid. At the same time, you need to be honest that, in order to get whatever it is that I want, I'm going to have to put in a certain amount of work. I'm going to have to get guidance if I need guidance. It's not, nobody's going to show up to my door and say, Ivan, here's your successful YouTube channel. Here's this band that you can go tour with. And now that's going to, that's going to be great for the rest of your life. All this other stuff. It's not going to happen. It just isn't. And listen, if you've got a really famous working band that needs a bass player, just call me. As you persist, just remember that you're stacking the odds in your favor. Unbelievable success is not guaranteed. It's just a possibility. You're making it far more possible. But reject this idea that there's somehow like this loser mindset. You need to change your attitude, and this winner mindset, which apparently, according to Aaron, means ignoring a lot of things that are true and just moving blindly forwards and telling other people that believe that or see the truth that they're delusional. You've got the wrong mindset. You're a loser anyway. Fuck that. If you watch Tom's video, you may see other things that I, have a little bit of umbrage with. The idea that you need to cut everybody else out of your life and just stick around with people that are 10 times better than you, or treat every penny like a prisoner, or just work, and all the weekends, all these things, because a lot of that's just hustle culture BS. And you know what? It's not for everybody. Yes, you might succeed a little faster, but how about the rest of your life? How about behaving ethically? How about being a human being? I don't know about you, but I'm not willing to sell my soul to chase the almighty dollar, because I'd rather not be a dick, you know what I mean? So there's two extremes you don't want to fall into. The first one is saying, it's all fixed, it's all rigged, it's hopeless, so why bother? And the second one is saying, you know what, nothing's rigged, nothing's fixed, there's no such thing as luck, and so if you're not succeeding, it's your mindset, fix your mindset. The first one just keeps you miserable, the second one, kind of makes you an asshole, you know what I mean? So keep striving for whatever it is you want, but be discerning. There are a lot of voices out there, and some of them are just plain wrong. I would love to hear your thoughts on this. If you've seen the video, if you're a fan of Tom's, or if you're a fan of Aaron's, if you think I'm completely wacky and I'm off my rocker, I would love to hear any and all comments on what your experiences have been. And, you can always support the channel by using the super thanks there and toss me a buck or two. Or you can like the video if you really like it, or subscribe to the channel. All those things help. And thanks a lot for watching, kids.